Hello and welcome to episode 7 of the WBBL review. Now today's show is amazing. We have got our special guest, which is Leah McDerment from Manchester Mystics, played last year at London Lions of course. Fascinating story, and we'll invite her on a show very, very soon. We've got, as part of that interview, we've got the quickfire questions. We've also got our fans' questions that you send in on social media. We'll be asking those. At the end, I'm going to have a rundown of all the different results and latest news from the league. So this is obviously an episode not to miss out. Make sure you subscribe for future episodes. Make sure you hit that like button. Send us comments of all your thoughts. And let's get straight into it. So welcome to the show, Leah.
Thank you for having me. Pleasure to be here.
How's things going back home now?
Yeah, it's good. I'm settled back in. I'm back with mum and dad. Been here for about over a month now. So yeah, truly settled back in.
So where were you born, just for people who don't know?
So I was born in Stockport in Greater Manchester.
I think I've only ever been to Stockport once, and I went to, what was it called, Reddishvale Farm?
Yep.
We went there. That was good. We were down for a
That's actually
wedding.
what I'm in there.
So let's talk a bit about you and your basketball journey. When did you start playing basketball?
So I was about 5 or 6. I was very young. My older brother used to play, so I would just have to go like with mum or dad to watch his games and practices and stuff. And then I just started joining in on the sidelines, and so then they were like, right, we best put her into a team. And so that's how it all began.
So did your parents play basketball, or was it just your brother?
They did, just on like a local, I think it was like, it wouldn't have been over 40s, but like a adult league on one night of the week, just for fun, nothing serious.
And did you have any other inspirations growing up, any kind of coaches or players that you looked up to specifically?
Not particularly. No, I just was really into it when I was going watching my brother, and yeah, that's how it all really started. Really, really organically, just picked up the ball myself, and yeah, just loved it ever since then.
Any other sports when you were growing up? So basketball really early, 5, 6, but was there any other sports that you played?
I did gymnastics for a very short period of time. I was started off and I was quite good, but then they really wanted me to start going a lot more frequently throughout the week and stuff, and so I had to make the decision of basketball or gymnastics. So I stuck with basketball. I'm a bit too tall anyway to be a gymnast, but yeah, I did everything in school, but nothing like to the same degree or level as basketball.
So you started playing basketball at 5, 6. Where did it go from there? When did you join teams and take things a bit more seriously?
So then, yeah, I was just playing in like a local league, girls team. My dad coached me for a little bit, just on a little team on a Saturday morning. And then I went to a basketball camp at, I think it was the GMEX first. And it was Paul Middleton, who used to coach at Manchester Magic, who spotted me and told me to come to a camp at the Amici Centre. And so I went there. I think I was around 9, 10, 10-ish, something like that. And then I had to wait like a year or so. They wouldn't let me play under 14s at that young of an age. So I had to wait like the whole year. And then I eventually started going with the Mystics.
Okay, so how about 14 did you know, about 10, 11?
Yes, around, yeah, young anyway, yeah.
And then when did you start thinking like, yeah, I'm pretty good, I'm really good, I want to keep going, and kind of progress like you did?
Um, I would say it was probably around like 11. I started getting selected for Northwest and then North. So I would go to like the competitions at Lillyshaw and stuff like that. And then from there, I think it was Karen Burton spotted me at Lillyshaw, and then I started going to like the England development camps and stuff like that. And it was Lee Davey, Karen Burton, like all those kind of people that were around when I was, yeah, about 11, 12. that's when things started getting involved in like national team and stuff like that. And I don't know if I had much of a conscience of it back then, but like I was getting selected for things and I was doing pretty well. So
It always helps, doesn't it?
yeah.
You've mentioned some names there. Like obviously those people are still kind of involved in the WBBL. What's it like going to play against them? So like last year, obviously you were with London. You played against Durham, against Lee. What was that like?
Oh, it was so nice. Like I have a really great relationship with Lee, and he was talking a bit of trash to me on the sideline and, you know, asking how mum and dad are and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's just nice because, you know, at this point they've known me for like 10 plus years, and they've seen me develop, and they always believed in me back then. So it's always nice seeing those people that were there from like the very start, really.
So let's kind of start from was 16. What was next for you?
Yeah, so 16, I'd been playing with the Mystics. I think I was doing all age groups. WBBL didn't actually exist then, so I think it was Division 1 Mystics, under 18s, and then I made the decision to go down to Barking. I'd been, you know, in contact with Mark for a couple of years. He wanted me to go when I was a bit younger, but mum and dad were kind of like, right, we'll let her finish off her school and stuff here. So yeah, I went down to Barking at 16, lived with a host family for 2 years in Woodford, so Essex/London. Yeah, that was great. Did my A levels there. It was tough, obviously, living away from home, being that young, and you know, a teenager, there's a lot going on like in your head and and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, that was great. I made some really good friends, and I was sort of reunited with quite a few girls that I'd already done national team with. So the likes of like Shakila, Melita was there, then Beth Sarson, loads of people. So yeah, that was a really great experience.
I always wonder how it works when players leave at such a young age to go away from home and kind of it must, as you say, it must have been so difficult.
Yeah, and I think also the other side that is very difficult is for the parents too. Like obviously for me, like I'm going and that's hard, but I'm occupied. But for my mum and dad, especially my mum, like that was really tough because I was, in her eyes, I was just her little baby. And when she used to drop me off at the train station, she'd always be dead emotional and stuff. But yeah, it was tough, but it was a no-brainer. It was what I wanted to do. You know, they were the best academy, and I felt like I was just going and, like I said, reuniting with people who were all on the national team. Mostly there wasn't that many people from the north, so yeah, that was the decision I made.
So keep going then for us. What was next, and talk us through your journey a bit more.
Yeah, so from there I went on to Umass Amherst, Division 1, playing the Atlantic 10 with the likes of Duquesne, Dayton, George Washington, George Mason, Rhode Island, those kind of teams. A really good conference. Did all 4 years there. Was captain my junior and senior year. Started all 4 years. Had a decent career in terms of, you know, I was very much a contributing factor from the start. They had a really not great record when I went in. So I knew that I would be able to, you know, play and hopefully contribute a lot. So yeah, did all 4 years there, graduated in 2018.
Now I've seen an interview you did while you were there. It was on YouTube where like at Christmas time, and
Yeah,
you with a guy in one of the best Christmas suits I've ever seen, and playing
yeah, I mean,
pin the nose on Rudolph. I mean, we've got to recreate that near Christmas, right?
oh yeah, sure, if you insist.
Was college always the plan for you then, or was that something that just happened?
Yeah, I mean, it was always the plan. Like even when I was doing my A levels, you know, you don't actually need your A levels to go to the States. It's based on like your SAT and your GCSEs. So even during those, like I kind of always had that in mind, that that was what I wanted to do. It was just a matter of having decent couple of years at Barking, and then that's another reason why I went there, just like the connections they've got and the contacts. Like Lloyd Gardner, he's, you know, he knows a lot of people. He was there at the time when I was at Barking. But yeah, that was always the goal. I hadn't really considered anything else, to be honest.
And you said you contributed really well, captained the side. Let's talk about after that then, after the 4 years. What was next for Leah?
So yeah, so after that, it was a tough one because, you know, as good as my experience was, there was also lots of, you know, really tough parts of it. And I sort of, my relationship with the game had changed quite a bit. And, you know, you can sometimes be quite boxed in when you play in the States, just because it's, you have your role and that's what you're expected to do. So by the end of it, I wasn't sure if I wanted to carry on playing really, which I think deep down, like I always did, but I thought maybe I should explore other options. But in the end, yeah, I was like, this is what I want to do. I'm not ready to finish just yet. So I got an agent, and got in contact with a couple of teams, and then I decided to go to Germany. And I played for a Division 2 team there, Bad Homburg Falcons, just outside of Frankfurt in Germany. So that was my first season. That was good, amazing experience. Great people, loved Germany, loved the culture, loved everything about it in that regard. But yeah, was still like trying to find myself again, like on the court and stuff. So I decided to re-sign with them for a second year. And then during that second year, I had a flare up in my foot of something that I kind of had in college, but it hadn't been too bad. So I was planning on getting surgery at the end of that season, and then COVID happened. So then COVID happened, came home, ended up going back out to Germany, figuring things out, and had surgery actually in Germany in September of 2020.
Obviously, surgery puts you out for a period of time. Talk us through the feelings of, obviously, injuries are part of professional sport, I guess, but not easy to deal with.
Yeah, no, it was really tough. I think, you know, there was the added factor of that it was COVID. So 2020 in itself was just crazy. I was hoping to get the surgery much sooner than I did. So because of the delay of everything, it ate into the other season. So I missed not only the end of the COVID season, but I missed the whole of the season after that as well. So yeah, it was just tough. It was really mentally draining, and just, you know, figuring out what else you can do and what else you offer in the world outside of just being a basketball player and stuff. And also, I wasn't really sure how my recovery was going to be. It's quite a difficult surgery. If you look online and read about it, that there wasn't that many positive things. So that was like a bit of a mental battle for me, was I wasn't really sure, you know, if I was going to still have pain when I came back. So that was, yeah, it was a lot to deal with.
As you say, COVID was such a major thing for everyone, but obviously adding that on. How did you find the kind of the lockdowns and isolations and stuff like that? How did you find that kind of outside the injury?
I mean, yeah, it was just a crazy time, wasn't it? It was also tough. I had like some family stuff going on. I had an uncle who was really sick. So it was sort of the silver lining of COVID for me was that I got to be back in England, because otherwise I would have been still in Germany. So I got to be home, got to see him a lot. So that was really nice. That was mainly what I spent my time doing, was having socially distanced chats at the end of the garden with him. So yeah, it was tough. Weird time looking back on it, just, you know, going out for your one walk a day and stuff like that seems like a long time ago, but yeah, weird.
Yeah, you just went like socially distanced chats across the garden wall. It's like it never happened now, but it is such a strange time.
Yeah.
So what was it like coming back from that injury then?
Well, I was out in Germany, so I was by myself there. And to be honest, then I kind of lived like a bit of a normal life. I was still living in the housing from the team. I had a great relationship with the man who works at the club, and he let me stay there. But then I had a job babysitting for a family. I'd made loads of friends. I decided if I was going to be here, it was during the summer, just before my surgery. I was like, if I'm going to be here and I'm not associated with the team really anymore, I need some friends. So I joined a Facebook group. Top tip, if you're living or working overseas, put yourself out there. So I did that, made loads of friends, like other internationals that were in the city. And yeah, just did that whilst recovering. Just sort of doing what I could do. Started doing like Pilates, stuff like that. Just where the surgery was in my foot, it was just getting like that movement back again. So yeah.
So then, yeah, talk about kind of your return into playing basketball.
So yeah, I came back to England in July. I'd had contact with the Lions. Obviously, Mark coached me when I was at Barking. Ricky Broadmoor when I was at Barking. He's my trainer in the summer as well. And so decided to come back, and went well for about 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and then just a return to play. Perhaps poor rehab on my part. Just a return to play, tore my calf. Wasn't aware that I tore my calf until I eventually got the MRI, but that took quite a while. So was trying to push through. Had in mind the first game against Gran Canaria. I was like, I'll be back, like I'll be good. Wasn't the case. Yeah, with calf tears, it's just tough. Takes a very long time, and it's something that can like play up for a long time after you're fully recovered. So yeah, that was the start of a very, very difficult year for me.
Yeah, I was going to say you've had on the back of COVID, on the back of the surgery, you're thinking you're kind of ready to go, and then it happens again, like so tough.
Yeah, it was the past season, I'd say, was probably the toughest season out of all of them for me. I think just because it was unexpected. I've had injuries in the past, and when I was in the States, I had stress fractures in both feet, but I never missed a game. My whole college career, I didn't miss a single game. So nothing had really limited me in the way that this did. Obviously the surgery, but it wasn't in and out. Whereas this past season was in and out. I would be good. I remember we had a stretch after Christmas. We didn't have a game for like 4 weeks. And I'd been practicing, feeling really good. And then I rolled my ankle 2 days before the weekend, missed 2 games that weekend. We had a double header the weekend after. So at that point, it was just, it's tough to stay up. It felt like mentally, I felt like I was fighting a losing battle at that point. And yeah, the other thing, being a part of a team that's having so much success when you don't feel like you're really contributing to it. That was really hard. I felt like I hadn't been able to show anything of like who I was to new teammates, to the new team. So then it was a bit of like imposter syndrome of, should I really be here? Am I good enough to be here? So yeah, a lot going on.
Yeah. How do you keep yourself kind of up and going into practice, and after injuries and as you say, that imposter syndrome, like how do you keep yourself going?
It took me a while, honestly. I remember Jo Leadham came in, and because she came in a couple of weeks after, and she was like, I don't know, it was the first time I met her. She was like, I don't know you, but you just seem sad. And I was like, I am really sad. And then Cassie Breen was my roommate. She was amazing. Had lots of chats with her. And then I just sort of said to myself one day, I was like, look, can't be sad anymore. Like you can't be feeling like this anymore. You've got to pull yourself out of it somehow. So I just tried to be the best teammate I could be. I was, I'd be on the sideline. I'd just do anything I could, really, just to be there and show how present I was and how invested I was, because, you know, it's tough going to all of the things and traveling and doing everything, and you're not actually able to step on the court. So yeah, just try to be a good teammate and be there for them in any way that I could be, and contribute in any possible way that I could be.
I mean, contribute obviously in your way that you did. I mean, it was an incredible season for the Lions last year, undefeated in domestic leagues and things. So there was that element to it as well.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. And, you know, everyone said that. They were like, you know, you're here, you're doing so much. And I was very much so in and out of practice. That was the thing. Like, even though I didn't get to suit up in many games in the end, there were times when I was very present. And then in terms of on the court. So yeah, it was tough. But like I said, I did still contribute. Yeah. But like as an athlete, and as, you know, I didn't get to put the ball in the basket or make a defensive stop play or assist someone. So yeah, it was tough in that regard.
Let's talk about your homecoming then. So after that tough year, how did the move to Manchester come about?
So yeah, obviously the 777 were trying to continue to build the Euro Cup roster, and I just needed a year to be able to play and be healthy and get a lot of minutes under my belt and play like I know that I'm capable of. So I spoke to quite a few teams, and then once Manchester contacted me, I think that was sort of just, it was straight away, I was kind of locked in, just because I'd started imagining life off the court and being able to be home. The first time I've been home in 10 years. So I've got nephews. I was thinking about them and best friends having a baby and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, had conversations with Mark. She was really supportive of what, you know, my current injury and health status is and what that might look like going forward. And might be some days that I can't go, or I'm only 60%. So yeah, I had that conversation, and that was it. Pretty much said, Mum and Dad, I'm coming home. And yeah, here I am.
So let's look at the season so far. Obviously coming on the back of London's success last year, tough start of the season. Two losses at the minute. What can you take away from those games? What are you looking at kind of moving forward with Manchester?
Yeah, it's been a tough start, but we've not had much time together, and we are very much a new team. I think we've got like one returning player, Vanessa Accra. Other than that, we're all new. We're very young, you know, besides myself, Vanessa, and a couple of like the rookies, we sort of drop off into under 18 girls. So I think that's something that really needs to be taken into consideration when we're playing these teams that are, you know, the likes of Cardiff. The roster is very similar to last year, and Leicester are just always very established and some really experienced players. So I think we need to keep that in mind and just keep trying to stack good days on top of good days and good weeks, and just improve game by game and not get too caught up on what's happened in the past, and just rewatch the game, take away small little things that we need to do better, and just focus on ourselves rather than the opponent too much.
And you've got Nottingham at the weekend, who are themselves coming off probably a disappointing loss against Newcastle.
Yeah,
looking forward to that one.
Yeah, I'm excited. I mean, I look forward to every game. I'm just trying to play, and I'm happy every time I'm out there and can lace them up, to be honest. So yeah, I look forward to it.
So you've been around the WBBL a couple of years now. What do you think the WBBL is doing well at the moment?
Doing well at the moment. I think in general, most teams have been able to create really good rosters with girls that, you know, we've got good Americans coming in, but we've also got good core British players within each team. Like I really like Essex, you know, Ashley Munns, Claire, all of those key people that then when you add the additional pieces, I think the standard is definitely getting better. So yeah, I would say that just like the rosters that teams have been able to build, it's definitely very competitive.
I know obviously the talking point across the weekend on social media has been the streams. That Auckland didn't have one. Essex struggled with the Wi-Fi. One thing Manchester does very well is their streaming and their commentary and things like that. So how important is getting the streams across all clubs and kind of giving the people a chance to watch it every game?
I think it's massively important, especially like I said, if you do have players that are coming from different places or not even that far afield, but say if you're playing in Manchester and you're from London or somewhere like that, to be able to give not only family and friends, but just other supporters the access to watch those games is crucial. And, the likes of Manchester, we don't really get many people in the stands, but if we can generate some sort of momentum by just easily, here's a link, click it, you don't have to come to the game, throw it on your telly, easy to watch, easily accessible, and then hopefully you spark that interest that means that you can get some bums in seats and some tickets sold. So yeah, I think, and also just for the overall professionalism, I think it's needs to get a little bit better.
Yeah. Right, let's move to the fans' questions then. So I put that post on social media and I got some interesting responses. I mean, Kennedy Leonard wants to know what you miss about London and your former teammates.
What, sorry?
Kennedy wants to know what you miss about London and your former teammates.
Oh, I just miss my friends. Like we ended up being really close in the end. It was really nice for me being back with Shaq. I've been me and Shaq played national team together when we were really young, like 13, 14. So it was nice to reunite with them and Kennedy and Chantal and yeah, just the people, not really the place. London, not really the place, but the people, yeah.
Another one. Josh Steele wants to know what album is the soundtrack to your life right now?
What album is the soundtrack to my life right now? I'd say a bit of Beyonce. Been listening to that. That gets me going.
Fair enough. And Lauren Milligan wants to know what advice you've got for younger girls who are inspiring to be national team pro basketball player. What advice have you got for them?
Good question. I would say just work ethic. Like work ethic will get you so far. If you're the hardest worker, coaches are going to recognize it. Energy and just being coachable. Like if you work hard and you listen, you'll go far.
Fair enough. Right, let's go for the quick fire questions. These are always fun. So, McDonald's or KFC?
McDonald's.
Okay. Favorite Netflix series at the moment?
I'm not watching Netflix, but Married at First Sight. That's what I'm on right now.
We'll have to finish soon so we can go watch it. What's your favorite jersey number and why?
Well, right now I'm playing 25. That was just what I wore in college, but I was trying to revert back to 9 because that's what I always played at Mystics. So I was trying to have a little homecoming return to the glory days, but I wasn't able to snag 9. But yeah, probably number 9.
Okie dokie. What's your favorite Disney film?
The Little Mermaid.
Okay. Are you excited about the new one that's coming out?
Oh, I can't wait. I've already put it in the group chat, so all the girls are going to see it.
What annoys you the most?
Annoys me the most? Yeah. Just like in general?
Yeah, just in general. What bugs you?
When people don't listen.
I don't know. Have you got a game day routine? Something you do every time, every game?
Well, now I just warm up. I'm massage gun the bottom of my feet, my legs, foam rolling, got a little routine in. I do a warm up at the moment, yeah.
Do you prefer to assist or score the basket?
Tough one. Assist.
Okay. What's your favourite moment on court?
Favourite moment on court, I'd have to say you being at Umass and we had never beat Duquesne and we weren't expected to beat Duquesne and we beat them in just an amazing game and we played so well and we had like 6-7 players and yeah, really, really good game.
What is your favourite snack?
Oh, blueberries.
Blueberries. What is the top of your bucket list?
Just travel in general. That's my favourite thing to do. So yeah, just travel.
Where's your favourite place that you've travelled to?
Tough. I went to the south of France this summer, really liked that. But just anywhere, I just love the feeling of being somewhere that I've never been and I don't know anyone and I'm just exploring the streets. That's my favourite thing.
Would you have pineapple on a pizza?
I would.
Good.
I would, yeah.
Who is your favourite basketball player of all time?
Of all time? You know, I don't watch that much basketball. Like, I'm not a massive, I like to play, but I'm not like a massive watcher of the game. Go with maybe Joe Leadham then.
Nice. You sound like my Eva there because I said Commonwealth Games are on and she plays netball as well as basketball. And I said, do you want to go? I'll take you down to Birmingham and we'll go and watch some netball. And she's like, no, I think I prefer to play. I was like, oh, okay, fair enough. What is your main strength as a basketball player?
I would say my IQ. I think I'm a smart player. And my ability to get people into good positions, pass the ball well.
So I've got one question left, but before I ask that question, I just want to say thank you so much for your time. It's been fascinating to kind of get to know your journey and discuss last year and kind of the feelings and things that you were having last year. And it's been really, really fascinating to hear. So thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much.
So last question, I want you to finish this sentence. I love basketball because
of all the amazing people that I've been able to meet and the friendships that have blossomed from an orange ball and the places that I've been able to travel to.
Amazing. Again, thank you so much. Good luck for the rest of the season for yourself and the Mystics. And hopefully speak to you soon.
Thank you. See you at a game soon.
Bye. Thank you very much, Leah. Again, as I said earlier, a fascinating story, and it was great to have you discuss your basketball journey with us. So again, thank you for taking your time out. Now we're moving on to the latest news, the roundup of the latest goings on in the WBBL. Let's talk about the weekend's results. Eagles getting their first win of the season in arguably the game of the weekend. It was really close and backwards and forwards between the two teams. Eagles edging out the Wildcats 69-65 on the back of another double-double from Katie Nolan, who started the season very, very well indeed. Now, there was a little bit of confusion on social media from the WBBL page, whether it was the Newcastle Wildcats or the Nottingham Eagles, but, well, less said the better, I think. Let's move on. Second game was on the Saturday, and it was another sizable defeat for Oakland's Wolves, this time against Sevenoaks. 50-122, so a 72-point loss. Renee Bush, incredible performance, a monster performance from her. 28 points, 13 rebounds, 9 assists, 3 steals, index rating of 46, an incredible performance. Also 21 points from GB under 16, Katie Cox as well, announcing herself onto the WBBL stage. Moving on to Sunday, Manchester hosted Leicester. Eva's Player of the Week just took that game away from Manchester and Leicester never really in any danger at all, and took the win. Final game of the season, Essex against Caledonia. A quite tight first quarter, but Caledonia pulled away from the second, never really looked in danger, even though Essex made a nice comeback in the fourth quarter, but just didn't have enough, losing by 8. So that's the results. Now, looking at the weekend as a whole, streaming, the stats page and social media errors were the talking points. I know Auckland didn't have a stream for their game, waiting on something to come and to be delivered for them to put on their streams. Essex having Wi-Fi difficulties with their stream, really kind of jittery and no audio and things like that. So again, disappointing. I know clubs have their reasons for why things aren't working at the moment, but let's hope next week the talking points will be the basketball. We've got 6 games next week. We've got Durham potentially making their first appearance of the season. I think I said that last week, but this week they're down to play Caledonia. So bit of deja vu in episode 7 as to episode 6. Sevenoaks hosting Newcastle. Cardiff making the trip to Essex. Riders are against the London Lions. Sheffield at home to Oaklands. What a start the season the Oaklands are having. London, Sevenoaks, Hatters. I mean, don't think you could have given them any harder start to the season. And the last game of the weekend, Nottingham against Manchester, and both those teams will be looking to bounce back from this weekend defeats. Nottingham will feel like they can play much better than they did against Newcastle. That's a roundup of all the latest news. I just want to say a huge thank you to everyone who takes the time to listen to this. It really does mean a lot. All of the kind of interaction on social media is amazing, so keep that up. Keep commenting on the videos. Keep sharing them. As I said earlier, just hit that subscribe button so you know everything that's going on. Hit the likes. Tell us what you thought of this episode. And if you've got any ideas for future episodes, just let me know and I will consider all ideas. But thank you very much, and we've got loads more guests coming up in the future weeks. More coverage. I am hopefully at the Durham Caledonia game on Saturday, so there'll be plenty of content from there. So just make sure you subscribe so you're the first to find out. That's me, and I will see you very soon.